Why, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, so good to see you here. Afrosia, Frank, Biola, Sean, Voodoo Val, of course. Yeah, Frank. Hello. My hair's a little crazy today. Hopefully that's okay. But yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about lighting and shadow. We're going to deal with some lighting and shadow tricks. Oh, Michelle, you are so nice. Thank you. Audio and video are good. Got my handy mic here. And that's why I wear black, because it always hides the mic. And if you're joining me elsewhere, as I can see, feel free to say hi. Yeah, cool. All right, so let's kind of get this body started. And now that Penny is here, we can begin. All right, Penny, we're going to talk about lightning and shadow tricks, things like that. And this is a piece I created in the past, and I was kind of showing how to make a tattoo, but sort of like bringing life to this, which again is just a fun project. How would you add lighting, like, and shadow and stuff? So that's the idea. Sort of working on this piece. Actually, let me just double check to make sure that is not there. There we go. Cool. So what I've done, at least what I did with this piece, because I was in a rush, I just kind of painted on some shadows. So this is like a shadow, right? This is a shadow. All right, and let's just take a look at those. If you want to find out where something is, you can option click. And you can see that shadow is like right behind there. What about this shadow? Option click on the thumbnail for that layer, and you can see there's the shadow for it. So that's kind of what we're working on. But like here's the issue with this. Or even if I tried to paint it on here, right? I would, you can consider adding a layer. And if, if you want, if you were so inclined, you would, select a brush, just a soft round brush. Let's make sure it's actual brush and not a mixer brush. And then you might consider sort of painting in a shadow softly with the flow taken down. All right, so that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm kind of talking about like kind of where you start and where the problems with it. So you can see right in here, it just looks fake. Can we all agree? Why does it look fake, Peter? Tell me, Peter, why does this look fake? I need to deal with the light source, the intensity, and the texture. The biggest problem I have is the texture. This is all of a sudden smooth when everything else has like a little bit of like a touch of grain, so yeah, I have a problem if it's like solid black. Usually what I tell people is at least sort of sample from like an honest, yeah, sample from like this area down here. I'm so glad we actually have this hand to kind of show that this is what we want. We want this sort of shadow. So I can say sample that color right in there, and it's not going to be pure black, but it's going to just have a warmer tone. So I can paint like so. I actually think this totally works, by the way. This will work for most things, maybe, but it does look fake, especially if shadows are a dominant part of your composition. So that's what I need to fix. All right. So this is what I'd actually do here, right? This is the old painted shadow, like so. I would actually use an adjustment layer. So we could jump in and play with like the brightness and contrast. We could do a couple things. But let's hold down the option key. Let's see what happens if I hold down the option key as I select brightness and contrast. Apparently nothing happens. All right, so here's brightness and contrast on the whole image, right? We can darken it. We can adjust the contrast. Lots of things in here. So this might be your next step. But it's the idea of using adjustment layers and painting on those layer masks. But I could tell already this won't work, by the way. So we'll invert this mask. We will paint with white. right? And you can kind of see what this looks like. This kind of retains the color. Let's actually crank this brightness down further and the contrast down. But this actually, you know, does kind of a better job of not adding black. It's not adding black is my point. Okay, we're not adding a color, we're not adding black, we're adding shadow is what this does. So it's a little bit closer to what we have over here. Okay, we could try a different one. In fact, let's just try this one right here. We'll add a new adjustment layer, and this time we are going to jump into curves. Okay. Curves, you can see, are going to give me like a little bit more dramatic control in here, as you can see. Can we please fix our cuticles? Marsha, you're hilarious. But anyways, sort of this is what we get. We get like more control over the color, right? And that's what curves is going to give us. There's different ways to kind of dive into the options, the auto options for curves, but I don't think I'm going to go there, right? Levels as well. It's ultimately going to take a couple different things, but let's take a look at levels. When it comes to levels, we have it's a little bit different than brightness and contrast. So let's take a look at this. Brightness and contrast probably gives you the least control, but it's the easiest to work with because you just have a brightness and contrast sliders. You don't have control over the lights and darks. You take levels. Oh, levels, you actually have controls over the darks and lights individually, right? And you could just make everything lighter or darker using these sliders, right? So levels gives me more control than brightness and contrast, right? And again, you can just control the midtones too. What curves does, curves starts to give you these color ranges, even more control over the sort of the brightness of this image. But you know, obviously, since it's a curve, you can add as many points as you want and adjust that curve any way you want. And then you can dive into the different colors as well. So that's kind of like the progression of these three. So now you know. It's so early, Voodoo Val. I know. I feel you. It's early for me, too. I just flew in from San Francisco last night, actually. I was just in your neighbor. Well, you're not in San Francisco. You're like an hour outside of San Francisco. But I was just in your state. So it might take a combination of things. Even with like levels, you know, we still have that. It's like such an intense color right there. Let's try one more thing. Let's go into Hue and Saturation. Hue and Saturation will give me the one slider, so it's similar to brightness and contrast. But here, we could sort of take out any of the color. So that's what I'm doing. So take, you know, amp it up or take it down. So let's just paint on Hue and Saturation just to see what we get. We'll invert it. We'll hit B for brush. We'll make sure white's in there. And then we can paint like so. I just threw that in there really fast. And yeah, we do need to clean up our cuticles. Like if this was black, black also doesn't work when you're overlaying it on top of something else. It just like changes the color. So anyways, Hue and Saturation. Our goal is to try to get it to match these type of shadows best as possible, right? Already we get to keep the texture. That's probably what's most important. You're like 2 to 3 hours from San Francisco. Voodoo Val, where do you live? Like, what's your exact address? I'm kidding. Don't tell me. Is this a joke I do? It's just jokes. So look at this. Like, you can see the saturation slider. See how that works? Like, oh, this next, we can like warm it up in this case, it seems like. Warming it up. And now it's looking a little bit more like this one here, right? So that's, again, like all I'm doing in that case. Somebody get 14 hours sleep. Oh man, I love sleep is awesome. Can we just talk about how great sleep is for a bit? Let's kind of remove a little bit of that. Oh, my flow's cranked all the way up to 100. But anyways, that's what I'm kind of using to paint in these shadows. And now we can kind of see the difference. What was this one? This one was brightness and contrast. This one here, more subtle, but it's hue and saturation. So anyways, if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of continue to work. So like right over here, this is also where I painted. I'm pretty sure. What sort of madness did you do here, Paul? Yeah, just painted with black, which is okay if you just need to knock something out quickly. But in this case, you know, we have shadows of the leaves, and then we added a little bit more detail. I might like the shape here, so let's actually merge these two layers. Let's get hue and saturation. Let's go to that layer. Actually, let's make sure everything's darker, like so. And let's do this. Let's do a command click. So if you command click on a layer, command click, it's going to select everything on that layer, which means it's selecting those shadows because I did a command click. Now that it's selected, I can go to this second layer and fill it with white. So that's just how I would transfer a shadow over, right? Cool. And it's awfully nice just having these nice little sliders to be able to jump in, make it darker, still keep that texture, maybe crank up the color a little bit. All right, that's all I'm doing. We're just having fun here. Let's fix this shadow up here, man. This desperately needs to be worked on. All right. It's a case where I can take this layer mask and drag it up just by holding down the Option key. You can drag, basically duplicate masks by dragging up the mask using the Option key. So now I have that sort of control, as you can see. Let's erase a little bit. We're just trying to make this look more realistic. That's the plan. Yeah, this caterpillar, you're not a fan of caterpillars? I like caterpillars. Really cool. I like caterpillars because they're not the type of insect that's going to sneak up on you, you know? Maybe that's why I like it. Let's add a new layer. I've been basically just using hue and saturation. Seems to do the trick for this because I have control over the color. All right. I'm just going to paint this in. Just give me a second. Oh. Let's paint like right down here. See, it's getting a little muddy. You can see I can crank up that saturation like just a little bit. I mean, I just think it, you know, makes a difference. That's all. All right. Oh, that's cool. I just read that comment, Voodoo Val. Creating an arrow tattoo. Or, yeah, using a tattoo as an arrow trigger. Yeah, that's an awesome idea. into it. So yeah, what do you guys think of this? Is this working for you? This one, again, painted shadows. So all we're doing is turning those off and replacing them. Showing you sort of like the next level when it comes to, you know, adding shadows in this case. Paint a little bit. Look at how nice that is. Like, it's just so nice. Like, we're making this area darker. I think this actually shows up better here. Like, we're making this area darker. We're not putting black on top of it. We're actually making that image darker, which I think this part probably shows it the best. You know, assuming there. See, I have that fake little, that little guy. I don't even know what I'm doing here. What's, I got it. Oh, this is even better. So there's that, sort of that wing right there. But just kind of give you an idea that that tattoo, not this one, that part, but this part. And just the color. Yeah, I think that's looking better. I think anytime you're making a composition and it's not a complex composition, you just need to make sure these little details are all buttoned up. Oh, Voodoo Val, you're so nice to me. Let's fix our cuticles. Because somebody was like, I got a problem with that. And now I personally can't unsee it. So let's just jump in there really fast. Doesn't really have anything to do with our project, but let's fix it quickly. Just like this dot is bothering me. That's all. We can clean up other parts of this. Yeah, and all I'm doing is using the spot healing brush. It's that easy. Save it. Ooh, another thing we should work with, and I think I had this idea while I was working on it. This hair needs to be over the tattoo. So this is also a problem with what I'm looking at right now. And this doesn't have to do anything with like lighting and shadow, just realism. Yeah, we lose a little bit of that hair coming like right through there. Like fixing that, that's a whole, that's a whole thing. Right? I wouldn't even try to go in and select this hair. I would, yeah, I would personally, I would maybe check my brushes. I got all these beautiful brushes, hair brushes. Maybe I'd use one like that. Let's see what these look like. Show brush tip. So anyway. Okay, so let's move on. What else does this need? Let me just turn on this layer. Like, I think it's pretty good. I think it's done. I think we're done with this project. We could work on overall lighting, right? So yeah, so if we wanted to add some overall lighting and make this look a little bit more dramatic, we can play with that. Yeah, no, it does have a brush tip. I just didn't have it turned on. Shame on me. Let's just jump into color lookup just for fun. We're going to change sort of the overall color of this image, kind of like giving it kind of like an Instagram type filter. I'll usually go through a couple of these and just see if anything is working. Like, you know, and sometimes you like it just because it's different, right? I think for this one, I decided that just like the cleaner, the more realistic, it just like looked better. Like this gets a little blown out. But what are these color lookup tables? They're just a combination of different adjustment layers. So I could go in and I could make this drop blues. I could make a drop blues one. I can go to, you know, whatever. Change the brightness, do hue and saturation, you know, crank it up, maybe change the, go into the blues, crank up the blues, take down the warm tones, right? And what I'm doing here is making my own LUT, which let's do even bigger. Let's do some bigger color swings. Okay, let's do that. Sure. I just did added three different adjustment layers. With those three selected, we'll go to Export, Color Lookup Tables. Bingo. Oh, document has no background. Easy enough. Let's give it a background. We'll go to Layer, Background from Layer. So that's, did you know that's how you do it? New layer, background from layer. I wonder if I just, all a background layer is just a locked layer. So let's just see if I lock it. Does that make it a background layer? I guess we're going to find out together. Nope. So anyways, layer, new background from layer. Boom. Locked, and then it's named background. So I guess I could have done that. But anyways. Color lookup tables, there you go. We'll just go, whatever, tattoo woman. I'm not sure what the grid points mean, but we'll click OK, and there we made our lookup table, and there it is. Cool. That's how you do it. It has to say background. Oh, Sean, thank you. Now I know. Cheers to that. But yeah, we did it. We just basically made a LUT, right? Still kind of doing some processes. I really don't know what processes it's doing. But anyways, now it's done. Anyways, we'll go back to this one. We go into the color and light, the current color lookups, and others that I've downloaded, by the way. So that's what some of these are. Smooth sailing, serenity. Oh, let's see what serenity looks like. Right, kind of blows it out a little bit. But I like how it's not so... The thing is there was too much like yellow warm tones. So I think that's the problem I have with it. It's like, is that those warm tones, are they too dominant? I don't know. So anyways, make that color shift. I'd call this one done. So maybe I'll post it to Instagram later. Where's the skull going to go? Ryan Benoit, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Good to see ya. So yeah, where is the skull? I thought about doing that to other images. Like this one would get really complex, mainly because there's all these little water droplets. So I might save this one for a time when we need to render water, right? Which is going to be a whole deal. Okay. Same thing for this one. We can play with light and shadow in here. What else we got? And then we got this one that I was also thinking about working on, because this obviously, she could easily have a skull since Ryan requested it. Let's just take a look, my friends. By the way, don't give me a hard time, because I have not used skulls and flowers in a while, so I don't feel bad about jumping in and doing a cool Paul portrait just because I can. Okay, so deal with it is what I'm saying. Not in a mean way, but you understand. Take that, rasterize layer. This is probably the wrong angle. Let's take a look at this one real fast. And these are just Adobe Stock images. I kind of like this image because it's like so flat, so I think we could add a lot of drama to it. Right there, boom. Okay, right here. Let's do this. Let's go into properties, remove background. Okay, we're getting there. We're halfway there. Boom. Let's just go ahead and apply that. I'm not going to need that black again. Right? Let's just make it quick. Quick selections, jump in, remove some of these parts. I don't think you can see all the way through the skull there. Let's grab, ooh, not that. Grab that little piece. Grab that little piece. Call that done. And adjust. Make sure the lines line up. All the lines line up. Oh, got some weird rendering happening here. Okay. You just change that to overlay or just adjust the transparency. But here's where I'd start distorting this. You know, I'd probably actually use Puppet Warp. Boom, 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 boom. Drop that in like that. Okay, so there we have our skull. Ryan's happy. I'm happy. Right. You get the idea. Cool. Cool. All right. This would be perfect for a skull tattoo. I'd love to add tattoos here. What I like again about this image, any image kind of has the same issues. First off, she has fantastic nails. Can we talk about that? But look at these shadows. This is definitely a case where, like, look at all that texture. If I started painting in like a big element on it, I'm not crazy about that skull right now. Probably need to change the blend mode. You know, I jump into like overlay. Still, you know, she needs a spine. She needs all the things, which would be fun to add. But let's put something. So if we had something kind of weaving in and out or going in front of her face, if we did, you know, something like just grab some natural elements. Maybe it's a butterfly. Maybe we do that. Let's do something a little bit more drastic. Let's grab a butterfly, this little guy. Bingo. Already cut out. And yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun to just have all these butterflies and vines around, like kind of wrapping around her. That would be like really fun. But we need to show something with a shadow. So that's why I'm adding this extra element and dropping it in place. All right, let's put it on our finger, like so. And we'll play with the lighting. First thing you'll notice with this like composite, at least the first thing that kind of sticks out to me is like, are the blacks. Like, are the blacks all similar? So if we remove the color just by, you know, dropping down the saturation, in my opinion, like, I think I could maybe use threshold to do this. Let's just go into like exposure. But you know, if I just turn an image black and white, I personally can tell like this black is darker than the blackest points in the image. So that's a case where I do need to adjust this. I would do just what you do, a Command L, right? Command L. Now I'm just applied this levels to the butterfly. So I could just take this up just like a touch, right? And I could have also used curves, but you know, I could just make that a touch lighter, and that just kind of adds to the realism. Click OK. Why did I do Command L? Because it kind of nestles it, like puts it right on that layer, and then I could just put it away, and it doesn't get too messy, right? And it's essentially like going to layer, new adjustment layer. If I wanted to do curves, because some of you might want to use curves, here's a situation. Oh, curves does not work. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that right. Image adjustment. Sorry about that. Image adjustment. When you apply them here, because this is what I did. I did levels. Here's curves. So I could have just done Command M, but what this adds is this actually will apply it to the layer just like curves was added. So I just like that. Hello, people. So yeah, do I work on this some more? Let's just kind of dive in. Close that up. New layer. By the way, like I could still just start painting with black if I find that that's easier. You know, so let's get this brush size down. So it's okay to like start painting with black. The reason I'm just painting with black is I could apply this to the layer mask later. Okay, like so. So I've kind of just painted with black. Let's jump in Hue and Saturation, right? Take that down. Command, click, go to this layer, fill with white. There we go. It's a little strong. How is everyone? Anybody got any good stories for me? I'd do the same thing on the actual object. There we are, and you can see I'm just making that darker. Maybe cranking up the saturation. Cool. Just a little bit. All right. Yeah, that's... it is 8:35 in the morning. You know me, what I would start adding to this is all that fun stuff. Right? Can I just have some fun now? Dare me to? Should I drop in another butterfly? You know, that one's flying. You know, some other awesome ones in here, right? They're all dead, by the way. So morbid. They're all dead. They all came from a stock file that they were just pinned to a board. Yeah, I need a little, I could use a little coffee. I just flew in from San Francisco late last night and got in like midnight. And you know, when you come back from a trip, you just kind of like gotta decompress. I admire Elron Butterfly. I admire anybody who could just go like right to sleep. Okay, so let's deal with lighting on this little guy. Why not, huh? Yeah, there it is. New clipping mask. Put that right on top. I did not know I was going to use Hue and Saturation so much. See what I'm doing? I'm not painting with a color. I'm taking all the colors that are there and just taking them down a notch. You know, just like that. And still can control like the intensity of it. It needs to go down a little bit, and then we can paint with it. In this case, we will add some, there we go, white. So just made that look like a little bit darker because it's on the back side. What kind of coffee I'm drinking this morning? Oh, Matthew Roberts, you're so kind. Thanks for asking, because I love coffee. It's blueberry. It's blueberry. My current favorite is lately has been cherry, but also they're up the street. I'll get a chai spiced nitro cold brew. So, you know, iced coffee. Well, it's not iced coffee. It's cold brew coffee. So it's like you make an iced chai tea, but you use cold brew instead of water. And it's delicious. Right, so this is where I'd put another butterfly. You know, but I'm just kind of throwing a couple around. I wanted to kind of wrap her in vines. Was my goal, to be honest with you. And let's take a look at that now, because we have to add all those shadows when we do it. And when I said these all are actually dead, here's the original file. All right, and this is a good. Ooh, look at this! Is such a great example. You could see there's actually. It looks like there might have been a couple different light sources on this. Like you have this shadow, something interesting is going on there, some banding, but this is a good shadow study as well. Because what's happening here? It's like a little sharper and then it trails out. So yeah, what you do, Michelle, you put blueberries in the coffee filter and then you brew the coffee. Just kidding. But wow, what a great idea that would be. Okay, so there that is. You can see all these little bugs and all this stuff. Let's go down to flowers and plants. You know, we just have all this fun stuff to work with. Look at this. Let's bring this in. I would have some fun adding this like in her hair and all that. Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna take her. We're going to wrap her in flowers. We're going to put her in an entirely different scene since we're working on lighting and shadow. I've been painting in shadows, but let's do some bigger changes and put her in like a night scene. Okay? So we'll take all this. We'll just group it. And, you know, here she is. So let's extract her. We will make this bigger as well, but let's cut her out. So I'll go to properties. I'll just do a remove background on this image. Boom, done. We'll just throw a fun gradient back there just to see if it got all those, you know, all the hair and all the things, right? And you can see it did a pretty good job, right? Some parts I need to clean up, like that I need to clean up. Like, let's turn on the original. See that? That little dent we need to fix. I'll just go in and clean that up now. There we are. The ring I'll probably remove anyway. A lot of this might just get overlaid, so I'm not going to sweat it like too much. Right? So I usually won't worry about like too many of these details like initially, because a lot of this stuff might get overlaid with flowers anyways, but her hair looks great. So anyways, I'll just click OK, call that a day. Here's our woman. We're going to find a super dark scene. And again, I only have 10 minutes. But while I'm in here, I do feel like dropping in some more flowers just for kicks. I might need that. I might need this. Are you guys jealous of my my library of flowers and plants? So I spent a lot of time like cutting out this stuff. But yeah, cut it out once and then just put it in your Creative Cloud library panel under whatever you want. Name it what you want, you know? It's like good to go. Okay, I got some things out there. Let's group them. Let's turn that off. Maybe a couple more. All right, any fun plans for Labor Day weekend? Let me know. So there that is. There's all that. Let's make this bigger. Let's go find our image now, actually. I might even have a good one under nature, but we want a dark night scene. Just a dark, like nighttime forest scene. That's what I'm looking for. Like, we want it to be dark and spooky. Not really spooky, but this sort of big color shift is what I want to do personally. I have that one. I have this one. This is kind of cool. And yeah, what else we got? Just checking, scrolling through here. Oh yeah, like spooky forest. You know, is that the background? All right, one more thing I'm going to do real fast. Let's just jump out to a browser window. You can see I was like searching on different images. We will do night forest. Spooky night forest. By the way, anybody seen Lord of the Rings? The Ring of Power or whatever it's called? I'm curious. Oh, look at these gorgeous images. Like this is cool stuff. Some of these are already licensed, which is great. So yeah, let's just re-download this one. Just these big shifts like this one. Oh man, that's so spooky. But I also like this one. Ooh, this is fun to deal with lighting. Look at how different this one is. So again, we're just trying to pick something that's just so drastically different. Oh, that's a premium image. Let's go in here. Standard content. There we go, for price. Change that to standard. Because I'm probably not going to spend $250 on an image. But, yeah. Anyways, I just downloaded a couple images. Let's go. Find those. This gorgeous image. It's almost too dark. And let's do an image reveal all. There we go. So it just dropped in that huge image. And there's a couple others that are in there. Let's turn all of these on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's maybe move this up. We'll do image reveal all. We'll do a trim. Transparent pixels. Right, just framing it up a little bit differently. There we go. Look at this. You want to match the lighting and the composition of these two photos? Like, look at how light these blacks are. So either I have to make that background darker or her lighter if I wanted to go this route. And what I do is I just do Command L. I would just drag that down, and that seems to match more, right? Also, the this is more of a cool scene back there, right? So I'd have to work on the color. But let's go to this one that's like really, really dramatic. It's almost too blue, to be honest with you. But let's just let's just match that lighting. So this is night forest. We'll take her, we'll convert that to a smart object. We'll go to filter, we'll go into neural filters. And we'll just turn on harmonization. Turning on harmonization, let's jump into that night forest that we just had selected and let it do its magic. It better do some magic. Actually, I did not change her that much. I'm sorry, I was expecting something much more dramatic. But I feel like something is wrong here. Yeah, I was expecting something much more dramatic. Kind of like that. But yeah, see how I just shift the yellows to blues, the reds into the cyan or cayenne, as I like to call it. But anyways, isn't this cool? Right? This is all in harmonization, right? I just think this is so fun to deal with. The auto select, check to see if you have that auto select box checked. Auto select. I don't think I do. Usually I think this auto select is what you're talking about, that guy. So I don't know if you're even talking to me. So either way, look at how we've dramatically changed that image. Sort of, I didn't have to use any adjustment layers, right? I could just do that in one fell swoop, right? She does look chilly, but she is the queen of the forest, and she's gonna have all these vines and stuff crawling all over her. Nice thing is I could always go in and turn that off. So we could play with these different shapes and these different shadows, and then dive into, changing the overall lighting of it. But yeah, she does look cool. Do you guys like this background? What do you guys think? Like, let's turn this back on. Like, it doesn't even matter that much right now. I just wanted to show you harmonization. Because it's like harmonization applies all of these adjustment layers. Black and white adjust layer, then clip low. Black and white adjustment layer, then clip a levels adjustment to match the illumination, then turn off the black. Oh yeah, Matthew Roberts. Do you come from the school of the Aaron Nace school of like matching colors? So yeah, you said add a black and white adjustment layer. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Thank you. That's great too. By the way, it's like I wanted to match those colors earlier. That's what would do it. That's what helps me. It removes the colors, so it helps me identify the lights and darks and stuff like that. Right. What I was using earlier was just hue and saturation, and I took the saturation all the way down, which pretty much gives you the same result. But anyways, let's like have some fun creating, everyone, huh? Let's get to it. Let's see what we can get done in no time. Go, work it. Let's set up my shortcuts. Why is this? Man, I swear, I need shortcuts, people. Puppet warp right in here. Why is it? Why do I not? I don't know. Well, anyways, there we go. Puppet warp. I use that a lot. Da 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 da. All those keys and then O. There we go. O. Bam, there it is. Ka-da, ka-da, ka-da. Sha. Hua. He. Wa. Let's remove that. There we go. Just need to bend that up like that. Zoop. Sure, let's get it. There, that looks good. Jump this layer. Command J. Take this down. Oh, here's my puppet warp, because again, it was a smart object. So we could take this and flip it. And just use this same branch at a different angle. You're not going to be able to tell that it's the same one, because everything is going to be distorted and moved around and all that fun stuff. So there we go. So like here's the second one. You know, kind of like that. Sure, why not? There it is. Let's take this one as well. Command J. Move this over. And adjust accordingly. So that's all I'm doing. Hope you guys don't mind that I'm doing this. I'm just like having some fun because I think people who are having fun at what they're doing, just happier people in general. And you know what? I just have not been creating lately like I want to. Like I haven't had a chance to create, and I just want to create some stuff. All of this, it all needs shadows and different things. You know, we need to, you know, do some fun little tricks like this will go under her ear. So we'll add a layer mask, right? Switch to this hard round and just kind of like remove that part. You know, so it's kind of going behind her ear. Just those little things, right? I have a bunch of hair brushes so I can interweave that hair if I want to. Right, that's probably not coming from her forehead. Not to worry. I will unlock the blend there and maybe move this over or up like that. I don't know. Just playing with things. I wanted vines to curve and flow around her hand would just be awesome, right? Let's just play with that. Like maybe these flowers are kind of coming up through her fingers, right? And those are casting shadows. All right. So again, puppet warp. Let's bend this out from her face a little bit more. It's coming down like that. And this is going to go up and like wrap around like that. It's going to kind of come out. So that's what we're going for. Right, don't worry. We'll get our skull back in there maybe. I don't know. Maybe. This one, yeah, I'm actually going to chop all of this off. Like so. And Command J to jump. Invert. Boom. So now we have a layer sandwich. We have one of these behind her hand. The other one's in front. How are my friends doing today? Hello, Renee. R-E-N-E. Is that, how do I say Renee? I don't know. I see you out there. Hurry, Paul. This one. That little spot. Let's get rid of that. So again, that's just kind of flowing through. We're kind of just seeing what we can get done in a short amount of time. And then we'll make some sweeping gestures of leaves and vines and stuff. I do want to introduce these vines. So these are the ones I had earlier. Yep. I'm down to my last couple of minutes. Man, time always flies. It goes by too fast. But hopefully you guys appreciated this. I, started on one. Finished up one. Started on a second. Hopefully you guys appreciated that. I'll work on this one some more. Just so you know, just because it's, fun and therapeutic. Because you can just, especially if you have a lot of the stuff already cut out, just makes creation easy, right? So that's the idea. Bobby Orlando's in the house. What's up, buddy? Marsha, Steve, Afroja, appreciate all you guys. My friends, just hanging out with ya. right? I would convert this all to a smart object, and then I would do harmonization, right? We did that earlier. We could take all that stuff, convert it to a smart object, and just do harmonization. So that's what I got for you. That's what I'll do in a bit. But thank you so much for hanging out with me on this lovely Friday. It's actually a 3-day weekend, Labor Day weekend if you're in the US. So it'll be fun. So thanks so much, everybody. We will see you soon. Bye.